All people are used to the fact that we have sexual reproduction, where you need both male and female for reproduction. But that is not always the case. Reproduction can and does happen without sexes. There is a variety of plants and animals that reproduce without any kind of fertilization through sperm. Biologically, it's way more efficient to reproduce without sexes. Let's imagine that we have two organisms. One is able to reproduce asexually, and the other one needs a male partner. Let's assume they both will always have only two offsprings for sexual reproduction. Absolute best case scenario, we will always have one male and one female, and no matter how many times they reproduce, the number of species will remain the same. On the other side, we have asexual reproduction machine that will keep growing in population progressively. Scientists call it the cost of males. Basically, males are useless in terms of reproduction when it comes to quantity. So there has to be a big reason why humans and most animals do reproduce sexually. This reason is genetic diversity. Sexual reproduction creates mutations. Some are good and some are bad. Good mutations create better adaptations and get passed to next generations. This process is called natural selection. Natural selection is the reason why we are what we are as humans, and it will never stop. And sexual selection is a part of natural selection. Females of all species are wired and therefore driven to reproduction with the fittest males, in order to secure their genetic immortality. This process is completely subconscious, so there is no need to analyze attraction cognitively. It just happens when certain physical features come together with behavioral and social traits. It creates sexual dimorphism, when males and females gain different physical traits that become desirable for opposite sex. It creates a strong tendencies where males are usually bigger and stronger. They can also gain some ridiculous features that do not affect their survivability, and sometimes can even make it harder for them to survive. There is no solid theory that can explain some of these irrational mutations, but it is possible that some features like colors, symmetry, and shapes can be found aesthetically pleasing even unconsciously. Runaway selection was proposed by Ronald Fisher. He assumed that females in any species can develop certain mutations for their preferences. If there is a small percentage of females that have a strong desire for a long tail, a small preference for this trait will lead to big changes in species. Now males with longer tails will become really attractive for this small group of females, plus other females that don't really care about the length of their tail. Now longer tails have a little advantage that will manifest itself in future generations and create a population that will have a longer tail on average. Not only sexual reproduction will reinforce positive mutations that improve survivability, it also eliminates all negative mutations because those who will develop them will have higher chance of dying or not reproducing, thus fail to pass their genes. I want you to focus on this statement. Male is a burden for reproduction of any species, unless they bring great genetic diversity into future offsprings. Without this, there would be no reason for them to exist. Sexual selection may seem inhuman and immoral. Irony is that it is an essential part of our identity, and the reason why we did develop the way we are today. Eliminating weakness and lack of survivability is mandatory for any living being that strives to exist in this competitive world.